I can use, yes, my microphone.
Yes, I will record as well. But well, it's always your third line, so
yes.
we know it's always better to have two options than one.
Yes.
Let's take it to the bed. Check. So let's see once more. Yeah, that looks better. So, yeah, you should be able to see everything. So, PHS has basically two parts. One is the PHS of nourishment, the other one is the PHS of the environment. And while the PHS of nourishment will take the major part of that, and it is derived practically from the substructure of the brain and the body, which we call color and tone. So basis is no option because nobody has a time sufficient precise for that, at least not. Well, maybe today some are existing, but no. So, okay. So nourishment is a big topic everywhere, and there are almost religious wars about what you should eat and what not. And that is, as always in the homogenization, based on a general mistake. They think there is one nourishment that would be ideal for everybody, so then we have to find it, and if we find it, everything will be fine. And the thought as such is very seducing, because the idea is if you get, let's say, food of good quality in a reasonable variety, everything should be fine, your body gets what it needs, and here we go. And why is that not topic of PHS? Because, of course, the body needs certain substances, you need vitamins, you need minerals and all that stuff, but this is the level of survival, physical survival. PHS is not about survival in the first place, it is about the differentiation of the body. And the differentiation of the body means that the digestive system and the differentiation of the body demands that you get out of the food what is necessary to unfold the uniqueness of your body. And this is what PHS is about. We have the color that is principally given a polarity. You have a color 4, and all higher colors are even more not about what you are eating, but under what conditions you are eating something. So it is about the environment, and the color 4 is called touch. That is a little bit misleading in the first place, because normally when we are talking about touch, well, I touch, right? That is touch. So I feel something because I touch. And here we are not talking about a physical touch, we are talking about a touch by the atmosphere one is eating in. And this atmosphere in your case is called a nervous one. And a nervous atmosphere is, well, it's very much alive. You know, there is something going on. You have told about a week of party, and a week of party is for your eating definitely better than a week of meditation. Because you need, that is a digestive system that needs the stimulation by what is going on around you. And if that is the correct stimulation, then the digestive system gets literally tuned in. You can see the only gate you have is the 22, and it is a gate of music that tunes in. So it is a frequency, it is tuning into a frequency, and that nervous atmosphere, I mean, nervous atmosphere is a very general description, of course, but you definitely will have experienced in your life very different kinds of nervous atmospheres. Yes, something is going on, but the frequency field still can be very different. And nervous says it almost can be a little bit stressy. Not too much, but a little bit, like a restaurant that is really full and the waiters have to work very fast in order to deliver what is ordered. And yet, of course, not too much, because you have your own pressure anyway, and it is not about being pressurized. And here comes the touching. You have a very open body graph, and you have experience with many energies touching you or penetrating you. And that is the difference, the important difference. In the same way as you need to learn how to get in touch with these energies around you without being overwhelmed by them, you need that bathing in the atmosphere. Like you take a bath, the water is not penetrating you, it is touching you. It stays outside, and still you can feel it. So this kind of atmosphere that is touching you, but you still kind of know who you are. You know, it's not overwhelming, it's not flooding. It is like taking a bath in another field of frequencies. There will be different qualities that are more suiting for you, which you only can discover, of course, by yourself. But we can look a little bit at the surface as well, because the surface also gives us information. I mean, we have the decrease, right? A sun in decrease. So that is also, to a certain degree, we can say a stimulation. And most important, you have a third line body. And a third line body has specific requirements. First of all, of course, it is an experiential body that needs to make experiences. And at the same time, of course, if you enter into an experience, everything can happen. You never know what it will be. So entering into the correct experiences is a big topic. And how do you decide that? You decide it, let's say, in a splenic way.
Let's say.
Let's hope. Let's hope that you only take a bath in the energies around you and still stay in contact with your body. But what is the intelligence the body has as its disposal? Where does the intelligence come from? So we have to see that the quality of decision making in general has, on the one hand, a specific mechanical way to do it, like you follow spontaneously your spleen or your body. But on the other hand, that doesn't tell us how intelligent the body is. And for the third line body, it is very important to have a very intelligent body, because the decision it has to make can have, well, all kind of consequences. And it is a body that has to take a lot. Not third line bodies, they make their experiences, they are challenging. You cannot stop that, or you cannot be yourself without letting that happen. And therefore, the regeneration plays a great role. That is, you pump in, you fall down, you have to stand up. That is an effort, an ongoing effort. And while you have your root energy, but apart from that, there is the energy limited. And the regeneration is very, very important. And regeneration demands that one chooses ways of regenerate. They are really nourishing. Not everything that feels good is good in the end. And in order to recover from the experience, you need that appropriate regeneration. So we have two big topics in the third line body. One is in what experiments to enter, and the other how to recover afterwards in order, well, not to degenerate by your life. And therefore, that development of the body intelligence is, for these two things, especially important. And we will see a little bit later how that works. But now coming back to the PHS, it is not difficult to understand. You do not need a seminar for understanding that, but it is not always easy to get. I mean, it depends, of course, generally from how you live. If you live in a family with 8 children, you will always have a nervous atmosphere.
No, I'm living alone.
You live here?
I'm living alone, yes.
Yeah, so if you live alone, it's not always so easy, and you cannot go every day, or you may not want to go every day out. So the difficulty is to get it, because PHS ideally would be applied always when you eat something. So also for the breakfast, or even a snack in between. And therefore it needs a little bit practical adaptation, starting with having your main meal, at least your main meal, in the appropriate atmosphere.
I'm always eating, I think, at this atmosphere from childhood, because I'm always looking something, I'm always listening something. I can't eat. I have never eaten in total quiet atmosphere. I hate it. That's why I think it's easy one. It's easy for me to. If we talk about that, if I'm watching TV or something, it is okay.
Yes, that is, we could say, the second best option.
The second best option.
It is not. Look, this atmosphere is supposed to stimulate the nervous system. That is what it is about. And definitely watching a movie or having a phone conversation with a friend or whatever is much, much better than sitting in silence, definitely. But the atmosphere has to do with aura. And in your case, especially, as we will see a little bit, so the best nervous atmosphere will be one with people around you. They create that atmosphere, and then it does not mean that you have to be nervous. That is what I meant before, that is like taking a bath, it's around you. But it's not, you do not need to be nervous, you need to be stimulated enough that the digestive system can function properly or in its best way. So it will, in practice, it always needs a little bit of experiment. And sometimes it also may ask for some, let's say, refinements in the lifestyle, because everything that is really leading to differentiation is not always comfortable. So it is not the easy way. It is the correct way, but not necessarily the easy one. So the recommendation would be that if possible, you have at least your main meal in that very much alive atmosphere. And if it's not possible, or for the moments where you take lesser substance to you, okay, then at least the TV or a movie or a music, whatever you prefer, whatever you can feel tunes you in. And it is not so difficult, because if it really tunes you in, you will like it. It's just a good feeling in the body. Yes, just a good feeling in the body. Okay, since when do you follow that? You said you had a natural tendency, but...
I think I always eat at Not, of course, always an aura of other people, but anyway, when I'm eating alone at home, I become fat. My stomach doesn't work as it.
Okay. Well, then there is about the process. There is not so much to say, no.
Yes.
Then you just go on, and the refinement would be that you maybe can manage to have a little bit more atmosphere, and let's say not the surrogate of it, not the replacement of it, so that it can even become a little bit more precise.
As I understand, when I start to eat at right atmosphere, my brain start to work better, and that's why my projector feelings become in the best way to work in the best way. Yes.
Yes, not directly. It's not like you are eating in the atmosphere and all of a sudden you are waking up.
Of course.
But it allows the differentiation of the body is a long-term process, because we all have been conditioned from the very first moment, and the conditioning is stored in the body. So at the present moment, you are a compromise of your design and the conditioning you have experienced. And PHS, we can understand PHS as a strategy to get back the true body that was designed to be, and definitely could not unfold totally, even if you, with the eating, may have been very lucky.
It's a part of experience, just a part.
So, following PHS, in your case, it's not a dramatic one, so you do not need to be very careful. I mean, you feel that you like it, it worked. The refinement may be possible, and the more precise you become, the easier the body can unfold to what is gifts are, and that has also an impact, of course, on health and physical well-being. And now you are designed to be healthy. Not that is like by design we can say you are healthy, you have a defined spleen that is a very strong, let's say, motorized spleen. The only open question is how the cleansing works, because there is no outlet to the throat. But still, principally that's a very healthy design. But there are two things to take into consideration. One thing is the open sacral, and the open sacral leads to, let's say, a very inconsistent experience of energy. And it's not that the PHS can make it kind of working like a defined one, but it is a great help in balancing that out. Yeah? So to have more consistency in that energy you need anyway. I mean, everybody has that basic vital energy necessary for functioning, because if not, you would not be sitting here. And that can be strengthened and balanced. That brings more, in the end, more relaxation. And as we will see a little bit later, relaxation is extremely important for you, extremely important. So, however, the second aspect is, well, you are very young, but even you will get older, and they always tell you that immune systems get weak if you get old. Well, they may get a little bit weaker, but it is absolutely not necessary that they get so weak that it is like reducing the joy of life. And for that, PHS is obviously also very helpful. But one has to say that this effect, the effect on health, is usually to be observed after a longer time of following your PHS. That is not coming overnight, but it is in the long run a very important benefit. So, but when we talk about the differentiation of the body, what exactly are we talking about? So what is the point? And the point is the cognition in the body, which is described by the tone. And the tone is, we all have all tones. You must understand that. We all see and we hear and we smell and so on. But in each human being, a specific tone is designed to bring the leading cognition. And the leading cognition means the input that is exactly the correct one for you. And it's not only about the input, that is just the data coming in. The true cognition is in the brain, of course, because there you get, the information becomes a meaning. You take something out of the information. And these, how shall I say, these tracks in the brain, they usually have been closed, or at least not unfolded to the true capacity. When talking about the famous mind-centered being, we have really very special abilities waiting for us, but they need a very precise and proper handling, which in that case PHS is. And then that specific tone you have, the fifth tone, can unfold and is creating that specific body intelligence that is supposed to take the lead of the inner authority. So that means that the quality of your decision making can improve. The process how to do it does not change, but what comes out of that can change by making more and more precise decisions. So normally we think about right or wrong decisions, correct or incorrect decisions, successful or not successful decisions. But it is too simple. There are situations where you have 3 good options, and there are situations where you only have 3 bad options. But still it is possible to pick the decision that is most accordingly to who you are, and that again supports the unfolding of your uniqueness. So it is a self-enforcing process. The more intelligent the body becomes, the more precise are the decisions, and that in itself is again supporting the body by unfolding to its true nature. Now, the fifth tone is a so-called right tone, and that means that you have a right body. And a right body is a so-called passive body. And yet, that also is something that needs to be understood correctly, because we rather could say it on the surface it looks to be passive, but while it is passive, it is not, because it takes so much in. And that is an ongoing input. It is an informational input that is very huge in your case, and that the body needs to process somehow and in the end to store, because that is a brain that stores literally everything according to its cognition. That means that even if you are lying flat, like the comic of a projector, you are lying flat and dreaming, your body actually, during that, there is a lot of activity going on inside. Therefore, you do not need so much activity on the outside. And that, of course, may be more difficult, again, given your age. But you have to understand that because of that, the best functioning of your body can only take place in a very relaxed state. That is the key. And then, by the way, then that's also, that will be good for everything, but especially, again, for the cognition, for the taking in, and later, of course, in the moment of a decision, taking it out. So the passiveness of the body demands that one is not too active on the surface, and this is also emphasized because you are also here to be, let's say, more the observer in the environment than doing something. So that means, given what you did in your life already, you are not here to be on the stage. The moment you are on the stage, all awareness goes to you. That is that selective quality that picks you out, kind of. And then you do get attention, but not necessarily the one that is good for you. And as that being in the environment means, of course, being in the environment with other people, it also means that in order to get the attention of the people, they are correct for you, or they will be able to see you as the being you are, it's better to stay in the background. As an example, if you would give a seminar like me, you would not sit here, you would sit there. There you would be the screen, all participants are looking at the screen and not at you, and then you have your seminar.
I'm doing readings and it's interesting. I didn't know about that. It could be interesting.
Readings is something else because it's one-to-one, usually.
I mean, even your design. Yes, courses.
That there it would be important, you can try it. It is, you need to make the experience.
Interesting.
So just try not to be the center of attention, because...
It's comfortable. I try to.
Yeah, it takes the pressure out. The moment you're on the stage, hey, you have an open ego, you have a 51, you want to be very good.
Too good.
Yeah, well, let's say at least very good. So there's always the danger that you start to prove yourself. And the trap is, yes, you get attention. Yeah? Of course you get attention. But it is not about getting attention, it is about being seen in your ability. And in your case, of course, it additionally comes, I mean, you are obviously a very attractive woman. So at least, let's say all men will definitely look at you and not listen to what you are saying. So that is, you get attention, but you do not get seen. If you are in the background, they will listen. They will have to listen. They look at the screen and they listen to you. And in your communication, there is much more expressed who you are as in your appearance, so to speak. Yeah? And this takes away a lot of pressure, because the moment you are on the stage, you want to be good and you want to be seen as good. And then you do some things that are not really necessary in order to look good or whatever. And again, it brings you the attention, but for the wrong reasons. But for the wrong reasons. Out of that, you do get, of course, a lot of invitations, the wrong ones, because they are based on what you have shown. That, of course, that's what we all do. We judge somebody by what we can see. Right? So being in the background, in the environment, is good for you and supports the relaxation. And out of the relaxation, what you have stored can be brought to the surface. And this is the true gift that is there, because that storage is practically infinite. And if it needs somebody else to bring it out, as you well know, you have that strategic mind who also can take hold on that. But the best working for you, of course, is in a small group. The configuration, even if it's 7 or 8 people, is not a tragedy. But this is not doing it all alone. It's good if you have some auras around you. Okay, so relaxed and in the background is the best position for you, and you do not need to be afraid that you will not get some attention, but it will be a different one. It will be different people for different reasons, and they will see much more of who you really are than if you work the other way around. So, what is then your famous cognition now? The 5th tone is called feeling, and we all have some kind of understanding what feeling means, but here it needs a little bit of precision. First of all, we have to understand it is a part of what is called the solar plexus binary of senses, and it means it is an emotional cognition, which may sound strange as you have an open solar plex. So it means that what is taken in needs to get digested from the body in the same way practically as you digest the food, right? You take it in, but then it's not just you have it, it needs to get processed in order to get out the good stuff and let go of the bad stuff for the body in that case. And with the taking in of information, it is the same. So you take it in and you take much more in than you can ever be aware of, and it gets stored. But it does not get only stored. It is processing over time, and that leads to the cognition. And this is not a contradiction to the splenic authority on the surface, because if that has been unfolded, the splenic authority practically gets guided by what you have stored, by the cognition that is already in you. So the surfacing is spontaneously, it comes out in a moment, but it has been built over some time. So what exactly are you storing?
Can I ask?
Of course.
For example, tomorrow I have this case. I had an invitation to go to exhibition in park, doesn't matter, and exhibition of bodies of dead people about anatomy, and it is real bodies. And like 1-3, of course it's interesting for me. I liked everything about health, etc. But when I try to touch it, to take it in, I feel that it's something wrong for me. It's like energy which I don't want to touch now because it's unhealthy. But of course, it's not about spleen because it doesn't about my real health. But I feel that it's not my place and I feel it. It is about this or not?
Yeah. First of all, if you have such a feeling, you should take it seriously. Because you'll never know how the body speaks with you. And if it is a clear, I do not want, why should you go? There is no obligation, just planning. Yeah? There is anyway no obligation. The only problem, of course, in your case can be that you have kind of given a promise. You want to
No, it's not. That doesn't. No, it's not a problem in this case. I just feel it's just. I can go for myself. I thought to go for myself, but then I understood that my mind is very interested about this. But I feel that something in vibration is not healthy for me in this dead bodies, and that's why I decided that I don't want to go.
Yeah, that's fine. Why not? It is also important to pay attention to, how shall I say, relatively soft information, because your cognition has a very similar quality. That feeling we are talking about here is not so much the feeling like I feel that the table is hard or something like that. It is about, it is mainly about the feeling of invisible frequencies. So it starts with electricity and mobile phone stations and radioactivity and cosmic radiation and radiation from the earth or from water. And a very important source of this radiation are auras. So that means you have a special sensitivity for this kind of frequencies. And that gives a very interesting foundation for cognition, because if you look at what it really is, especially when we are talking about people, it is a quality nobody can consciously change. You know, the visual field can be fooled easily. The acoustic field can be fooled easily. The smell, a whole industry lives from faking. The taste, so many artificial stuff. But invisible frequencies, auras, they are just what they are. That means if that cognition takes over, you have a true foundation. Because you can feel what really is. And that is especially concerning people, of course, of great value. I mean, for everybody it's very important with whom you spend time, but in my opinion, for projectors it is most important because they are most vulnerable, especially of course on the sacral level, or that's what all kind of projectors have in common. And well, everybody tries to look good, you know? Everybody tries to dress in a nice way or this or that, and that is all misleading. And if you stay in the feeling, your body knows. Not your mind. That it's not automatically coming to the mind. But your body will have a natural tendency to turn away from some people or feel attracted by some people, and it might not be according to the taste of your mind. Right? So it is like somebody may not look very attractive for you, but still it feels very good to be in that aura. Or the contrary, right? Somebody may look very attractive on the surface, but if you feel that person, it is like what you have described about the exhibition, right? No, I don't prefer not. So, this feeling is a very valuable condition because it cannot get fooled. On the other side, there's always another side. It also means that you are extremely sensitive in your body to these kind of frequencies and that you really need to pay attention to them. Because let's say, if I would have a smartphone that is on, laying at the side of my bed, it also wouldn't be perfect. But okay, I mean, it would not harm me very much. But for you, that can be really decreasing your health or your energy. So if you go to sleep, you turn out everything you can. Yeah? You'll need an energetically quiet space in order to have a good sleep, for example. And the same would be true with other things. I mean, where is the exact position of your bed? Is there a radiation coming from the earth on it or not? Do you have one of these electrical pillars around your home, etc. No?
Yes, I have things that try to do harm much lower. I have feng shui things and some things that try to work with this energy.
Still, the best way is to avoid negative energy.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
I mean, if you
If
you absolutely cannot, then of course whatever artificial means may help is good. But what is the solid foundation? You avoid what is detrimental for you. Right? That is the easiest way and the most practical one. And while I don't know if you live in Moscow, it may not always be possible to avoid all frequencies you are not so, let's say, enthusiastic about. So life always is the art of the possible and not an ideal. But so far as possible, avoiding what is not good for you from scratch. Right? So no compromise. Talking about the auras, that feeling is a very important tool in decision making, of course, because it is what you normally will maybe experience as a general tendency in your body to go away or to approach. It can become, on the one hand, it can become, of course, much more precise over time and with practice. And even if not, the spleen will become much more accurate, much more precise in what it is kind of telling you. And so we would have several good things coming together. It is like in the right environment, with the right people, you are relaxed and you work best in that state. That allows you to get the attention of people that are good for you and heightens the possibility to be seen as the being you really are, as the being you should be seen, so to speak. And only that can lead to correct invitations. And even then, of course, there is still a decision to be made, because not all invitations, even if they are honest, must be for you. No? Okay, out of that, I mean, you know, also objects have a radiation, so it would also be very good if you pay attention to that. So for example, you go in a shop and you want to buy clothes. Again, normally, does it suit you? Is it your size? How does it look? Do you like the tissue? That's just natural and it's not wrong. But it is not everything. It is how it feels. How it feels. And that is very important, because we all know that, talking about fashion and clothes, that a very high percentage of that stuff is produced just in slave factories. Then, if you put that on your skin, if you have that in your aura, it has an influence on you. Again, it has an influence on everybody, but on you, the influence will be stronger. So you need a clean frequency field around you, then in your home, and again, well, the first environment, of course, is what you have on your body directly. The same, what you use in the bathroom. It's not about how it smells, it's about how it feels. Yeah? And this is something you can start to practice, you learn by experience. So to make it one day, it could become just like automatically happening, that before you make any decision, how does it feel? Is this something for me? So that makes you sharper. I mean, that's brilliant, that is a sharp intelligence. And it makes you, faster may not be the correct description, but more precise. And additionally, of course, it feels good. It just feels good. And that is a clear sign for you that everything is okay. Because the spleen already says, if I physically feel good, then it's okay. And now comes like the finer dimension of that, that is very specifically able to discriminate between what you should have in your life and what not. And no matter what, of course, the people are the most important decision. So, in that way, it is much easier for you to choose the correct experience. And in that way, it's also much easier to choose how you regenerate after. If it really feels good on that level, the frequency level, then it will be nourishing for you. Yeah? And no matter what it is, like as a third line body, you can also drink a lot, as an example. But there again, it's not about drinking or not drinking. I also drink a lot. But I always have excellent quality. Yeah? I have a totally different, my cognition is taste, so for me it's the taste. But it means that my body gets what it really likes. And then it is, to a certain degree, regenerating. Yeah? And if you drink half a bottle, as an example, half a bottle of a bad wine, it still could in the moment not taste so bad, but it would be not regenerating for the body, it would be not nourishing. And in nourishing, it is also, you have made that example with the exhibition, but this is also, you can apply it also to a book. Normally, if you want to judge a book, you open some pages where you read the description. No, feel it. How does it feel? It contains the energy.
Yes.
Words are energy. Yeah? If somebody says something to you, how does it feel?
Oh,
Yeah?
yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. So that would be basically the PHS. The rest is development over time, and at some point you can reach levels of feeling they are, well, they would sound like science fiction, like entering a room and immediately turning away. Yeah, in a millisecond. You know, or somebody approaching you, and you are in a moment you are turning away. You do not shake hand. Yeah, this kind of stuff. That may sometimes be socially challenging, but nevertheless, I mean, has its sense. Okay. Second aspect, the PHS of the environment. So, first of all, we have to understand that you cannot overestimate environment. It is, the environment has already made 95% of all decisions possible, if not more. The environment determines everything. It definitely determines how you will feel, but it also determines whom you can meet. If metaphorically speaking, if you are on the mountain, you meet very different people from at the shore. And so the environment, as an expression of our geometry, of course, is the most existential thing we have. And to be in the correct environment is an incredible help and support for everything. But I have to say, you cannot make it the PHS, you want to do it, you start. Right? No invitation needed, nothing. The correct environment, I will of course describe in a general way, but in the end it will be something more specific as could be described. And out of that, you have to trust that life leads you to more and more correct environments over time. You have just started the period in your life where environment becomes really important. Before the Saturn return, it's not so important. It's still helpful, but you do not need it to unfold your storyline. And with the Saturn return, that sets in that in the correct place you need the correct people, and that allows to go from the 30 to 50 period, which then is supposed to lead to the fulfillment of the cross. So the environment we have to look at from all levels, meaning starting with the gate. If you have a 38, 39 environment, that is definitely a very, very individual one. So an individual place, imagine a place that is not normal, that is unusual. That may be so unusual that it is for some people even provoking. It does not need to be in an easy setting, let's say. That is, you have a hardscape color, that these are people, they can dwell under difficult circumstances. It does not need to be easy. You can struggle if you have to. So, I don't know, hardscape can mean many things. It means, on the one hand, it needs a city environment, basically. But on the other side, it also can mean difficult environments. The environments where not everybody likes to be or can dwell in a good way. But at the same time, first line, so that is, of course, a safe environment. A safe environment in the city, or a safe environment in a maybe even difficult region, but solid foundation. That definitely, it has to be a safe environment. And we are not talking about the precise place of yours yet, but the environment as such. So, difficult environment does not mean a quarter with high criminality, as an example. A safe environment. But from nature, whatever aspect, it could be also difficult, or from the climate or whatever. And then you have a first color, and the first color is cave. Now cave, it's a word, right? It is the most basic environment you can have. It is like the first chapter, and therefore it needs a little bit translation to modern times. A cave, again, of course, is a place where you feel safe, and you feel safe because you can control it. So there is no other one has authority there. Right? First line, no other one has authority there.
My place.
Yes, your place, your rules, right? And that means you have the key. And if somebody wants to enter, they have to knock. Right? They have to knock, and then you see what your spleen says. That would be literally the foundation. Now the cave, the advantage of the cave is that you can have some kind of cave practically everywhere. Right? You can create, in an apartment, you can create that atmosphere of a cave. And that also can be done, for example, outside of a city. Right? I can have my cave in the countryside, or I can have a cave in the mountain. It's principally possible. And you even could have a cave on the 35th floor.
Yes.
It's not bound to any super specific environment.
24, but it looks like a cave. It's very comfortable for me. It's not big. It is a little bit like, children sometimes. They make a nest under the bed. I did it
always. Yeah. This is the cave feeling.
Like
the cave feeling.
Yes.
Yeah? The cave feeling. And this place is so important. It's not that you have to be there all the time, but it is the place where you will finally meet the people that are really important for your destiny. The interactions, they are really, really important.
As I understand, right, my 39 in my environment, I everywhere did my place, place where I live in my room. There are a lot of vinyl stuff. There are a lot of different, interesting pictures, very provocative, and it's very safety for me. And I like places like this where people really try to, maybe for me it's fight for their own individuality, and they are provoked by this. And I'm always at the atmosphere of coaching, of the different stuffs like human design, something like that, and I feel there very comfortable. That's why I'm come here. Not I'm online. I'm here because it's usually very comfortable places for me. And if I understand right, 38, 39, it's about this too.
Yeah, the keynoting is the pressure to mutate.
Yes, the pressure of mutation.
So
yes.
we already can say that an environment in which is a pressure to mutate.
Yes, it's my place.
Which again does not mean you have to be pressurized.
Yes.
It is like with the atmosphere. You are in it, but it is not in you.
Places of mutation.
Yeah, okay. Places of mutation, very nice. Safe places of mutation.
Yes, safe.
Yeah, safe places of mutation. And in that is the general environment, and then in that a cave. It is like having almost two security rings. Yeah? First the environment in the broader sense is a safe one, and in that there is that smaller cave of yours that is totally yours. Not that kind of cozy place where you can hide and are protected and are in control and therefore feel totally safe. So that is the place where you meet the people. They are really important for you. And the cave is automatically kind of selective. I mean, you do not let in everybody in your cave. No? There is already, let's say, there is a border that has to be overcome. Right? And this is a step in the correct decision of, how shall I say, choosing contacts, choosing people for whatever purpose, no matter what. And in the cave, all your abilities are heightened. And that is, for example, also true if you're talking about being weak or a little bit sick or something like that. You get immediately stronger in your correct environment.
It is so.
And that, for example, would mean, let's say you would have a very important talk or a very difficult negotiation. You choose the place, and the place is the cave. And if it cannot be your cave, at least a place that is like a cave, or so as much as possible, because there you have automatically an advantage.
Yes.
Yeah, the cognition is heightened also.
I feel stronger.
What we can understand, because the cave is also a place that is not necessarily so visual. I mean, you said you have a lot of visuals there, and if you like it, why not? But actually, what I can see in your environment is that it is not so visual. So that is not the important thing. And if there is not so visual distraction, it is easier to feel. You know? What do you automatically if you want to take in a sensory field, if it's not visual, you close your eyes. Yeah? I want to taste absolutely the best I can, I close my eyes. I want to tune in totally to a music, I close my eyes. You have, you touch somebody. If you want to be in the feeling of that, you close your eyes.
But I have a pressure that something really, I like when it's beautiful. I have a pressure, and that's why I just, of course, yes, I feel when I go inside, and absolutely I turn off my visual senses, but anyway, it's not very loud. Yes, my visual rooms, but I need that I want it beautiful and very comfortable and etc. And in these places I feel myself safety and in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's correct things there,
Mm-hmm.
for example, when I bought furniture to my room, everything I tried to touch, I tried to find. It was very long story for me, and it's all have their own vibration,
Mm-hmm.
energy,
Yeah.
and now I understand. It's deeper how it works together.
Yes, of course. Now, of course, what you have is the tone 4. You have the tone 4 in the environment that is called inner vision. And inner vision is not so much on what you are seeing outside, it is more on what you are seeing inside. And seeing inside is easier. It doesn't be dark, but it is not in the broad light. Yeah?
Of course.
So in that sense, the diminished importance of the visual, and you can experiment. And if you have the objects you have are good for you and they feel good for you, there might be no need to change that. You know? But maybe not to turn on all lights in the evening. Yeah? So that there is a certain possibility to mold that, you know, to shape that light design, kind of. And just try how it is if it's not so much light, and how that feels. Yeah? If you like it, if you don't like it. Yeah? Okay. Look, that basically is the PHS. As you also are right in the environment, you can let in more than one person at a time. You know, normally we say always projectors one to one, but for your body it would be nice in a bender. So 3, 4, 5 people. Of course, they must be the right ones to be allowed in your cave. That would be a very nice atmosphere. Yeah? And also, as I say, a very good place for everything that is a little bit challenging, that needs your full capacity. Yeah? Again, for example, if you make seminar, so if I were you, I definitely would have curtains. I would make the room a little bit more dizzy, which is also good for the projection. Then you sit in the background, and what are you doing? You are guiding awareness. And for guiding awareness, you do not need to be seen. Yeah? You need to be heard, and maybe to a certain degree you need to be felt. But that is there automatically. Yeah? And the more you are relaxed, the more easily, the more naturally. Okay, before we go on to your Saturn, is there any body-specific question you have?
I think I have just one question about this final thing. Thought about when I'm, for example, give seminar. I feel that I have a 5-1 at my notes. I have at Saturn return 5th one, and I feel like people they trying to get me here, and I feel it that I'm sitting here, and it's a lot of projection, and I feel how people can't
Let go.
Yes, I feel it, and I feel how I can't let go it, and I think it's a question about Saturn return too, because I feel that I want it, and
let's take it as a bridge to the Saturn.
yes.
The point is, of course, that projection is very attractive for both sides.
Yes.
Because normally it's a good one, and that means that people are interested in you. That is always nice. Well, it is especially nice with an open ego. And there, in the background, there always may be the hope in that way I get seen. But of course, the projection is exactly the opposite of from getting seen. It is I see my own wishes, I see my own hopes. I do not see what is there. I do not even want to see what could be there, because I love my own fantasy so much. And that is then easily a way to a difficult situation. If you get dependent from that approval that comes from the projection, then there is a great danger that you start fulfill expectations in order not to lose it. And in the end, of course, you will be disappointing, because you cannot, in the long run, you cannot fulfill all expectations people have. No, that's just not possible. So the one difficulty is, of course, you will not stop that there is a projection field. The question is how to handle it. And again, I almost would like to say, like with the atmosphere, not letting that in. Keep it outside. Yeah? Okay, they are projecting on you. But even there, if you are in the background, they will project much less. If they see you all the time, they see what they want. If you are in the background, they don't see you all the time. Just sometimes. And apart from that, if you wanna, let's say, not reduce but limit that projection field or its impact.
Yes, I'm gonna.
Yeah, of course.
That I try to what to do. I try to be at every seminars which I'm giving, be like in a horizontal, that I'm telling at the first time, I begin from that I'm not guru. I have a lot of fails. I try to be myself as much as I can be. I try to be really honest, and I try to not just to try that no, I try to be myself, and usually people told that it's very interesting because it's the first time when they with me I'm not, and I'm an expert, but I'm not a guru, I'm not somebody who higher than them.
Yeah.
And it helped me to be myself in this.
Course. Look, modesty is the main key of the first line. If you look at the K10, it is modesty. And modesty is a not too much attention attractive behavior. Modesty is staying in the background. Yeah? It points in the same direction, and very likely you will feel much safer then.
Yes, much safer.
And still there is the challenge to let go of that admiration, adoration, being seen as whatever.
I don't know everything, I'm not the saint, and it's comfortable for me.
Yeah. Now, and on the other hand, one has to say, if you have a fifth line, you have a fifth line, so there will be projections. It's not that it will go away. It also can serve a very good purpose, because it can people bring to you for their own reason, but still it's good that they are coming. Yeah? So even if they come for something else as you have to offer, once they are there, they get what you have to offer, and if you can deliver what you have said, then it will be fine. No, there may be some slight disappointment, but not this reproachful, not to your selfish pitch and how could you. So it's more like, well, I was expecting something else, but I'm happy that I came. This kind of attitude. Yeah. And the other side, of course, well, how would you see yourself? You are egotropic. Where are you in the process of having a healthy self-esteem?
I worked a lot, so much. I worked so many years because I understand how much pain in this at this field. And yes, of course, sometimes my mind is, of course, it's always not sure in everything. My mind is reflective. And sometimes it's for me strange because, of course, I'm like 1-3, always want to go deeper. I always have questions, etc. And sometimes I think maybe I just want to get an expression at this moment. And of course, I try to feel, but then I think, no, I'm really interested to go deeper. And then I'm always try to have reflect about my ego and yes.
Sure.
I'm not. I'm a blogger, and I have a lot of people reading me. I really write well. And of course, at this, I always think maybe it's ego too, but of course it's sometimes ego too, but sometimes it's really some truth that I want to say and some provocation that I want to tell. And my it's like my projecture words to world, and I try to find my balance.
So let's look for one moment what is ISS self-esteem. Yeah?
Yes.
It is not avoiding doing something in a good way. Yeah? You can be excellent, why not? The question is why. And a healthy self-esteem in any case needs to be based on a realistic recognizing what you can do and what you cannot do. No more, no less. Right? That is a true foundation because it's real. Yeah? And that's all there is to say actually, because in that moment you do not need to prove. I mean, I also like to be good, of course, and I also like to get applause, but I'm very well aware of what I can do, and there are many things I cannot do, and so that is the balance we are talking about.
That's why I'm just writing about myself and what have been in my life, and not about future, because I'm scared everything. I don't do this because I'm scared of projections. I'm scared a lot about many things, and that's why I'm careful. I'm trying to.
Yeah, but look, fifth line has also the key of paranoia.
Of course, I am.
What will that one want from me?
Yes.
So that's why you need good curtains in your cave.
Yes.
Okay, I make a cut now. That if you want, you can do two different parts. Listen to it.
I think my paranoia saved me a lot of times.